What's up, YouTube? PokePrimer here, primed and ready to deliver you our Week 5 battle in the PFL Major Leagues here on the channel against Emily and the Corpus Christi Castforms. She's got a really tough team to deal with, so hopefully we can pull out the victory here. You can see from our team builder, we brought Manaphy, Mega Gardevoir, Simisear, Jolteon, Nidoqueen, and Regirock. My opponent decided to bring the Rotom Wash, Mega Scizor, Heatran, Roserade, Umbreon, and Slurpuff. So again, really terrifying, really tough squad to deal with, but I'm sure that we can pull out the win. So we're gonna go into this. We're gonna play music off, and we're gonna get this thing to normal speed and switch sides. So I decide to lead with my Jolteon as the images are gonna disappear on us now. She's going to swap out her Rotom into her, I don't even know what mons are coming in and out, into her Umbreon to take the incoming Volt Switch. We are Specs, so it does a lot of damage. It still does 27%, so that's cool. I go into our Rafiki, and I go for a Toxic. The Synchronize puts the Toxic back on Rafiki, but just fine. She goes for a Toxic of her own, so it's kind of an okay turn for us. It's a little bit, it's not the greatest, but it's okay. I go for the knockoff to get rid of the Umbreon's leftovers. I figured that was a fair play to go for. Umbreon's going to go for a Wish. I kind of predicted that. This thing's actually going to swap out now into Heatran for the Flash Fire boost. I'm going to knock this thing off, get rid of its Power Herb, which is very interesting to see. And it's going to just go for an Earth Power and kill my Rafiki, which is totally okay. We go back out into Boy. Again, Choice Specs Volt Switch is going to do a lot of damage. We go for the Volt Switch. Does not kill the Heatran, kind of disappointing. And we go out into our Manaphy, who takes the Earth Power like a champion. Scares out the Heatran. Into the Rotom we go. We hit it with a Scald. We get tricked. We get tricked to Choice Scarf, which is actually kind of interesting. As we go for the Energy Ball. So now we're guaranteed to outspeed the next turn and hit it with another Energy Ball. So that's really, really cool. So that plan definitely backfired on her. Tried to get choices into Energy Ball. At this point, I was sacking Manaphy. I didn't see any reason to keep Manaphy around for too much longer. Even Scarfed, it just didn't have the option. I went for the Energy Ball twice. I was kind of okay with sacking it as the Roserade goes for the Aromatherapy. So I figured, maybe I can get another switch in. Maybe I can get a switch. Maybe I can switch out as she goes into her Umbreon, which I was kind of surprised by. But since the Umbreon came out, I decided to swap into our 3 Pretty 5U, the Mega Gardevoir. I'm going to go ahead and Mega Evolve here and just go for the Will-O-Wisp. I predicted the Mega Scizor to come in, predicting the Hyper Voice, which is totally okay. I do decide just to go ahead and Hyper Voice here. It does insane levels of damage to the Umbreon. And I know that this thing can't withstand my Hyper Voice for too long. I expected her to swap again into the Heatran to take the Hyper Voice, but it just did not happen. I'm actually going to go for a Will-O-Wisp, predicting the Mega Scizor, and she goes into Heatran for the Flash Fire boost, but I'm able to kill it with the HP Ground. So that's cool. In comes the Slurpuff, and it's going to double back out into the Umbreon, whom I go for the Will-O-Wisp. Try to burn the Slurpuff just in case it wants to try to Belly Drum. But it doesn't happen. And she goes out into her Roserade, which takes a Hyper Voice to the face. Then I'm just going to go for a Psyshock and kill off the Roserade. So she just made a lot of interesting double, triple switches here. Goes out to the Slurpuff. I go for the Will-O-Wisp as she goes for the Belly Drum. So this thing is now burned. With the burn, it goes down to gets its Citrus, which is fine. I switch out because I still know I cannot take this hit. She goes for a Play Rough as I switch into my Regirock. She goes for a Drain Punch against Regirock. I should have gone for Iron Head here. I don't know why I didn't. I went for the Fire Punch predicting the Scizor. I don't know why I did that. I was a stupid play. If I had gone for the Iron Head, I could have preserved Jura just a little bit. Not much, but a little bit. But this Slurpuff is now worn down decently, so I can now go out into Jolteon. Jolteon can take a Drain Punch pretty nicely and just go for a Thunderbolt and really put the pressure on. Into the Umbreon we go, and this thing again, will take this Thunderbolt too nicely. I can't afford that. So she goes for the Wish, as I am just here. I burn this Umbreon here, which wasn't my best possible play. I should have just gone for the Hyper Voice, because I actually would have killed. She definitely played that turn perfectly. The Umbreon goes for a foul play as I switch into my Manaphy, which does not take much damage from it at all. I go for the U-turn to hit the Umbreon and get myself safely back into... actually get myself safely into Latifa, our Nidoqueen, who I'm actually just going to go for an Earth Power here to kind of bluff that I'm special. And, you know, she's going to get that Wish up on her Umbreon. I'm going to go for the Poison Jab here. Umbreon's going to go for a foul play and do a little bit of damage, but I'm going to be able to outspeed this turn, go for another Poison Jab, and down goes the Umbreon. Now, right here is where I have a huge lapse in planning. All that's left is her Mega Scizor, okay? All that is left is Mega Scizor. This is my hugest lapse in planning ever. I planned so heavily for this thing to counter. I made this Nidoqueen a huge counter to Dragonite, okay? That was my main thing. This thing was built to shut down and beat Dragonite. You know, Stealth Rocks to make sure that that thing gets its multi-scale broken. We had Ice Punch. We had the Shucka Berry to live up +1 Earthquake from a Dragonite. So many things were prepped for the Dragonite. I didn't even consider putting Fire Punch as coverage on this thing. I look at this matchup again. I didn't need the rocks. I didn't even set the rocks up, and I was down in this situation. I could have had Fire Punch on there, run an Assault Vested set, something like that, and I could have had almost the same result. But I didn't. And we're here in the situation where Scizor's just going to take this Earth Power like a champion and going to set up a Swords Dance. And at this point, it's pretty much game because I can't do anything. She sets up a second Swords Dance, and it's GG because a Bullet Punch is going to take out our Nidoqueen. And at that point, Manaphy, Jolteon, and Mega Gardevoir, none of them can take a Bullet Punch from a +4 Scizor, so it's GG. And it's so stupid because it's one simple lapse in planning, one issue that I had in my planning that prevented us from winning that match. I made one mistake in prep, and that screwed us the whole game. I'm disappointed more so in myself just because of the fact that I know that I could have won that game if I hadn't worried so much about Dragonite. I always worry so much about Dragonite in my prep, and nobody ever brings it. I've never once seen someone bring a Dragonite to a League format battle against me, and I don't know why. But I always prep so hard for Dragonite, and it never comes. Never, ever comes. Watch the one day I decide not to prep for it, it shows up, and it kills me. But yeah, one lapse in prep, one slight lapse in judgment, and it's GG. GG. And honestly, looking at the situation, I don't see why I had the Earth Power. Probably for the Heatran, but at the same time, I could have. It's fine. It's fine. I don't know. It was a poor planning on my part. I planned too much for one thing and didn't plan enough for another, and that's just my own fault. And I made the mistakes that I made, and you know we're here. We're dealing with it now, but. We have suffered our first loss here in the PFL Major Leagues. We are going through a bye week right now, and I plan on making a lot of free agency trades. We have 6 trades to make, and I plan on making all 6 of them. So you're going to see a huge shakeup to the squad in the coming week. So definitely stay tuned for that. Yeah, if you guys enjoyed this battle, please make sure to leave a like down below and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, guys, I am PokePrimer, signing off.